like I was saying, Nicole's been talking to Jeshua, who is to us, we call him Jesus, and she's been talking to him for some time now, and when we've asked him when she's been channeling, why Nicole, he said, because I promised I would. And so this is her time. But also when we've asked him questions, so there's been many little groups that we get a chance to speak to him, and we usually ask questions, so this is going to be a bit of a different thing today where we're going to ask Jeshua just to speak to us. So is there anything else you need from me? And would you like some water?
Is it only water?
Yeah, sorry, didn't get any red wine for you. He's a bit of a fan. Anyway, I'm going to put it down there in case you get thirsty, and I'll and we welcome you here, and I will leave it to you.
Wow, that is coming out very clearly.
That's good.
I think it's because Nicole's so tired.
Oh,
So
yeah,
her
that's
brain
good.
is just
She can
switching
have a
off.
nap while you're here. That's marvellous.
Wow, that's coming out. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Nancy.
so I'm going to leave you to it. I'll pour you some wine, shall I?
I don't think she'll protest much.
I actually, I don't think she's keen on that because Nicole is actually breastfeeding. She's got a young baby.
Don't remind her.
Yeah, sorry.
Wow. Wow, I am so clear right now. The thing is, I work when Nicole has quiet her thoughts. Because if her thoughts are active and I want to talk, it's filtering through her own thoughts, meaning it's a bit disrupted. But I feel very clear right now. It's again, I think it's because she's so tired. She hasn't slept much, baby's teething. So, maybe we should schedule around the baby's teething. Let's do that. Well, a message. Nancy says I have to give a message. Dear Nancy, I'm not a messenger. I'm a teacher. I'm not a messenger, but
So then perhaps you teach us. Teach us some stuff.
some stuff.
We're your disciples.
Well, no. Let me try and go into that route. First, this is great. The clarity is. I'm really. Nancy, till what time on the clock do I have?
Let's give you half an hour. So till 20 past.
20 past. Okay.
Yeah,
Great.
20 past, whatever works for you.
All right. I'll try and keep an eye on that. Oh, well.
It's so good to have you here so sharply.
Whew. Nicole was a little bit nervous about that. That didn't take any effort at all. Well, it's great to see you all here because the main reason what is fantastic about seeing people here is that you are not comfortable entirely with the life you are living. That's why you're here, because you feel there's something lacking. Even when you're at your happiest, you feel there's still something that is not quite working. There's still an empty space, so to say. And you're looking for a way to fill up that empty space. And that is fantastic. I admire that in people when they acknowledge that, because that means you are striving for something that is beyond what identity you've given yourself. So you are here because there is something. There is a wanting to know something more about yourself. And I'm going to go on a very straightforward thing here, and just to say that you are everything that you are looking for. And I'm going to explain this a bit to you, that you are everything that you could ever hope to achieve. From the time that you are born, you are told that you have to have an identity. What is your job? What is your occupation? What do you do? How do you define yourself? And you spend your life trying to graze an identity, trying to put a label on yourself, trying to make a mark in the world. And then what? Then you die. That's the question you have to ask yourself. What is it that you're actually striving for? Because you take things way too seriously. I mean, I look at Nicole and the thing that she's worried about and what concerns her, and you are looking at a play. You are watching a theater show, and you're taking it so damn seriously. You are shouting at the actors. You are cursing this. You are cursing that. You are emotionally in turmoil when something happens, and you don't realize that you're just sitting in the audience And some people around you are trying to hush you, saying, chill out, and you're just throwing a tantrum as it goes on. Because you don't need the outside validation as you think you do. If I can put it into a quick perspective, in 100 years from today, everyone in this room is going to be buried. Everyone you know, everyone you love is going to be buried within 100 years. And before you think, oh, that's a horrible reality, let me go from the other direction and say, think for a moment, how many lives had to be lived for you to be sitting here today? You have 2 parents, you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, you have 16 great-great-grandparents, you have 32 great-great-great-great-grandparents. If you go back just 500 years, you've got several thousand ancestors. If you go back 1,000 years, you're over 1 million ancestors. All these people have lived, survived, overcome for you to be sitting here today. Let that sink in for a moment. I mean, that should already fill you with awe as well as humility. It's pretty amazing. I mean, think for a moment, all those lives. That's just 1,000 years. Think how far back it goes. Think about all the hardships, the pain, the sufferings, the wars, the famines, the losses, the funerals. And then you think about all the joys, all the celebrations, the births, the reunions, the good harvests. All those memories, all those experiences are sitting in you. Your cells carry all those memories. Every single one, meaning all the problems that you're dealing with today, I promise you, somewhere along the line, someone's dealt with it already. And if they've done it, you can do it. You're living proof that you can do it. And you know what's amazing about that thought? If you think back how far it goes, somewhere along the line, you are related to the person sitting next to you. Somewhere along the line. Meaning that somewhere along the line, you share the same experiences, the same pains, the same joys. Doesn't that make us all a family? What you do to someone is what you do to yourself. Isn't that a beautiful thought that everything you need is sitting in that chair? But no, you're worried about what your boss is going to tell you tomorrow. You're worried about what Mr. X said on Facebook. You're worried about if you have a farm, when the rain's going to come, or actually when the rain's going to stop in this country. You're in such a wet country. So you're worried about so many small things that you know how to overcome already, that has been overcome already. Your life is short. If you saw it from my point of view, you'd be panicking. It's a glimpse. And you're here to understand, actually not even to understand yourself, you're here to experience yourself. But you can't because of all the noise in the foreground, your thoughts. You know how much noise your thoughts are? Looking for validation, looking for identity. Oh, good grief. You exist in the silence behind your thoughts. Thoughts is just noise. Stop the noise, and you're going to be in perfection. You are everything you need. You are enough to overcome any situation, any problem. And whether or not you have children, whether or not you have descendants, it doesn't matter because you will leave an echo in some form or another. Places that you've walked, things you've said, words you've written, the lives you've touched, that leaves an echo. People in this room are here today because one of your ancestors helped them. You would not be here. If one of those ancestors didn't make it, you would not be sitting here. Isn't that a beautiful thought? this noise in your head is just a distraction. Don't listen to it. Put it aside, quiet it. Know that it's just doing its own thing. But you are the observer. That's all you're doing. You're just observing the life that's happening. You think you're doing things. You think you're having the identity. You think you're doing the job. You think you're doing a million things. And in the end of the day, you're actually just observing. You're just watching life happen. Because everything you need has already happened. The next time you're faced with a problem, remember that everything you need to overcome that resides in you. Sorry, I'm just repeating myself to get back into the flow because Nicola's head is trying to kick in, so I'm just trying to get back into the flow here. Whew. So let's discuss that for a moment. Because as I said, I'm a teacher. I'm not good with messages. I'm not good with counseling. I have a lot of compassion for people, mainly because when you experience this, when you experience the silence behind the thoughts, when you see what you are, suddenly everyone around you becomes someone that's suffering. So I have a lot of compassion for people. But when they come to me with a problem, what do I do about my job? For me, that's a symptom of a much bigger problem. The big problem is people don't know who and what they are. They don't know what they're capable of. They don't know their own potentials. So I don't work with that. So coming into thoughts, I discussed this with a private group that I'm speaking with. Let's come into your thoughts for a moment. I said the thoughts are just foreground noise. They're just distracting you the whole time. Your mind wants you to think that this is who you are. It likes to give you an identity. Problem is, when you die, your brain dies, and suddenly that's gone. This is why death can be a very frightening thing for a lot of people. But you exist behind those thoughts, and you're just watching it. Remember, the mind is doing its thing just like every other organ in your body. Every organ in your body has a job, has a function. It's doing it. Your mind is doing the same thing. It's giving you thoughts. It helps you to survive. If your mind wasn't there, you wouldn't be surviving. Because you'd probably starve to death, because you would just go sit somewhere in the woods and starve. So the body needs to survive, so your mind is speaking. And the problem is people begin to believe their own thoughts. They fall into their own narrative, into their own storytelling. And that is why I'm a teacher. I don't talk to public, because it's very often that not everyone will understand this. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. The same with you. I'm sure all of you sitting here have tried to explain something, whether it's of a spiritual matter or something else. You try to explain something, and the person is just like a rock and does not listen. Don't think that they're being arrogant. It's that they can't understand it. And the best thing you can do is to leave them to suffer their own thoughts. It's not your job to try and fix it. You find ways to still yourself. Actually, this art, I used to do something very similar. When people were irritating me, I used to doodle in the sand just to keep myself grounded. Because it's very common to get angry when you're dealing with self-righteous. The most dangerous people are people who are lazy and people who are self-righteous. Don't get involved with these people. They don't deserve your time, they don't deserve your energy. Your presence. I always say, Nicole always uses the term energy. I use the term presence. Because there's a presence that you give forth. There's a presence and there's a power. So don't give your presence to people like this. Don't get upset, don't get angry. Because first of all, getting upset and angry is the noise in the foreground of your mind. Secondly, don't get angry because you're related to that person somewhere. Somewhere along the line, you share a link. And somewhere along the line, you felt the same pains and you felt the same joys. It's very beautiful to remember. lazy people are ungrateful. Because lazy people don't strive to do something for themselves. Meaning they're going to expect you to do that for them. And when you do it for them, they're not going to show gratitude. I think we all know this. I'm sure everyone has dealt with people who showed no gratitude. And you feel very used. Don't spend your time there. Self-righteous and arrogant, that's like talking to a stone wall. And you just get more and more angry. And the interesting thing about when you stop, if someone came to me and would rant and rage about my interpretation of Scripture, if I got angry to them, they kept at it. But when I kept quiet, it irritated them. Because now they got nothing to reflect it back. Their purpose of the argument is gone. Because their purpose of the argument is to get you to get angry. But do you know how it pisses people off when you just look at them when they're arguing with you and you just give a little smile? Nothing works better than that. Try it next time. Oh, it's difficult because your mind is going to go crazy. The noise in the foreground is going to be screaming at you because it is concerned with your survival. Remember this. This is a very important tip that I'm going to give you now. Remember this. Your mind, the thoughts, the foreground noise, is very important for your survival. It does not care about your happiness. Remember that. Something else you want to ask there?
I wanted to ask about where happiness comes from, actually. When you talk about it doesn't care about your happiness, then what does care about your happiness?
Well, first of all, the happiness that you experience isn't real happiness because it's temporary. In a physical world, the happiness that you pursue, oh, if I have this car, I'll be happy. Once you have the car, other problems show up. I'll be happy when this happens. Well, maybe that doesn't happen. If it does happen, another problem shows up. So all the problems, there's always a problem that generates. True happiness sits in you. It's what I call the kingdom that resides within. It's that silence behind your thoughts. When you go there, it's just peace and it's just joy. Nothing concerns you anymore. Nothing concerns you in the sense that it bothers you, agitates you, disappoints you. You still have compassion. I'm not saying you go completely numb. I had a lot of compassion. But you don't get personally involved. Now you suddenly realize you're watching the play. You suddenly realize you're just the audience and you're just applauding. Well done, that was a great performance. Oh, I didn't like that act. But it's just a performance at the end of the day. Does that answer the question?
So you take it seriously.
Don't take your thoughts seriously. Because your thoughts, like I said, is for your survival, not your happiness. Meaning if someone verbally attacks, someone insults you. Let's take that example. Someone insults you. Your survival, remember human beings are social creatures. We want social acceptance. So it's a natural thing. It's for our survival. Human beings would not have survived or evolved if we weren't social creatures. So when someone insults you, your brain immediately goes, oh, I'm going to be cast out. That's not good. So you've got to reply to this. You've got to defend yourself. So immediately the peace is broken. It's irrational because you're not going to get cast out. Good grief. I mean, the world can be against you. You always have someone. You take it as though it's so, so important that you are accepted, that you are validated, that what you do is seen as a grand masterpiece. When you do your art, that someone says, that looks great, you don't want someone to come and say, oh, that's a horrible thing. That's taking it too seriously. Because once again, life is short. You've got to cultivate what's in you. You've got to touch that kingdom that resides in you because that is where all the peace is. Again, I'm not saying to cut off your life. The mind has its function, like your heartbeat. You're not trying to stop your heartbeat. You're not trying to control your heartbeat. It's doing its job perfectly. Same with the mind. You don't try and stop your mind. Don't try and say your mind is of no good, is your enemy. Just let the mind do what it has to do, but don't take that seriously. It actually does raise the question, doesn't it? When you get angry and your mind says, ooh, I'm going to get angry about this. And you say, no, I'm going to just sit back and think this through. You've got to ask yourself, who is that doing the thinking? There's someone else doing the thinking. And that is who you're looking for. That's why you're here. I can't show that. I can't introduce you to yourself. You've just got to realize that. Does that answer it? You seem very confused.
Yeah, I was thinking of the next question actually. So you're saying we're a personality, and we're a soul combined, and is that what you're saying? That it's sort of like you have to live with yourself, your personality?
Oh, absolutely.
A little bit about the ways to do it rather than the ways not to do it.
What, in 10 minutes?
5? Oh yeah, 10 minutes.
No. I can give the quick advice. And what I said about the ancestors and so forth, that is one way to become humble and to realize things aren't as serious as you take it. Because you think, oh, so much happened before you, and you carry all that memory in your cells. Your cells carry that memory, every single one. You just have to, if you want to get over a problem, you can always just tap in. I mean, someone is doing Akashic records. That's probably a great way to go about it. But you are enough.
Can I change the subject?
Okay.
So, in the Bible, when you say, I'm the way, the truth, and the light, is that correct? No one comes to the Father except by me? Yeah?
No one. The wording. I'm not going to go into it. The wording was, no one reaches the Father except through the Son. Now people thought, oh, that's me. The Son is a representation of the true self that resides in you, that is like God. Because in you, the being is like God. It is the child of God. You can only reach God through that. You can't reach it through your mind. So
you were saying, I'm an example. If you follow my example, I go to the Father by myself, and you go to the Father by you. Okay.
simply, it's actually simple. It's actually simple. But yeah, we should actually do a talk on just Bible interpretations, because I have to set some records straight.
Does anyone else want to ask a question about that?
There's a hand up in the air.
There's an update called the Christ Letters that you're purported to have channeled. It's a beautifully written piece that explains a lot of more detail of what you've just covered.
Very possible.
Yep, that was you.
Very possibly, yes. The thing about channeling, like I said, I'm working all around the world. The thing is, how clear is it? You know, do people cut their mind off? Because very often when people channel, the foreground noise is there, and that plays in with what I'm trying to say. A lot of people mix their own narrative into what I'm trying to say. So some do it better than others. So I'm always saying, you know, be cautious. Even with Nicole, take it with a grain of salt, because I am filtering through her head. Be aware of that. So, well, I'll quickly just tell a quick thing that I'm going to end with. Is there was once a young man who wanted to learn a profession. He loved building. He loved building houses. And he was walking along the river, and he found a ferryman who could take him to the other side. Because on the other side were all the workshops and all the places to do what he needed to do. The ferryman took him over. And he spent a lot of time learning the trade of building houses. And every time he built a perfect little house, his teacher would give him one tool, one spanner, one drill, one hammer, box of nails. Every time he finished a house, he would get one tool. And he was so proud of the accumulation that he was getting that in the end he could build his own houses. But as time flew, he realized that, well, I've reached the point that there's no one that can teach me anymore. I've got all my tools. I can't get any more tools. So he went back to the river, but when he got there, he realized that the ferryman's on the other side, and he would call and shout, and the ferryman wouldn't hear him. And he couldn't swim across with his bag of tools. So he started walking along the river, up and down, until he found some stepping stones and a fallen log and started hopping over that. And when he came to the last rock, he realized the distance is a bit further to the shore than he had anticipated. And he stood there looking at this, wondering, can he do it with the extra weight? And as it was getting dark, he realized he had to do this before it got dark. So he took the plunge and he jumped. He missed the edge and he fell into the water and he began to drown. And as he was drowning, he suddenly realized, but wait, if I let my bag go, I'll be okay. So without even consideration, he dropped the bag, surfaced, and swam back to shore. And he didn't even miss what he lost in the river. Although he did sit there, but he still had the skills. And I'm going to leave you with that tonight.
Do you want to bring Nicole back?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm suddenly very...
I just thought it might be...
Oh, I can come back. I'm there again if you want.
I thought we could ask Nicole a few questions.
Oh, okay.
So you look terribly. Does anyone have any questions for Nicole about this? Go.
Now that you're a mum, has it changed anything?
Well, yes, it made me more tired, and apparently that's very good. But, yeah.
So tell people how it goes with you and Jeshua, how the relationship is. I mean, what's it like having him around? Do you have him with you? Is he away, gone?
Well, he's often chatting, especially at night when my thoughts are settled. He comes in. Very often I have to tell him to stop because he keeps me awake. That's why I'm recording this, because very often I don't remember. At night when he tells, sometimes he says things that are so beautiful, and I think to myself, oh, I won't forget that. And the next morning, I don't remember what it was. So I record this so that I can remember what was being said. But yeah, it actually started as automatic writing, and that died away a few years ago when I started just hearing the voice directly. Actually, when I started writing the book, that's when the voice started. I wrote the book, The Life Story of Jeshua, through the channeling. I first wrote it when I was just after school, so about 2021. I wrote his life story in a novel. And I filtered a lot through my own head, like Jeshua just explained. So when I read the novel now, it's like, yeah, that's not what he meant. That's how I used to think, but that's not what he meant. So I rewrote the novel. I rewrote that one last year. So last year.
We've got that for sale. It's called A Movement at Rest. And if you're interested in his real life, it's really good. It's very easy to read. It's a thick book, but it goes fast. Very fast.
Apologies to you and Isha for my phone. Very rude.
Oh, no.
Yes, all right, sorry. My apologies.
I had the same experience once.
Yeah, it does happen. Alrighty. Well, thank you, Nicole. Thank you very much.